Hello everyone and welcome to another custom figure showcase. Now, one of the things I got asked as part of my audio series Q&A was if there would be another custom figure showcase for my audio series figures. And the answer is still yes, there will be. This isn't it though, but this is another thing of my audio series that is another custom figure showcase, and it is the updated version of my TARDIS interior. Now, if you want to know what this looked like before, there is a video up of this, of its original version. You can see some of the changes I've made if you look between the two. I'm just going to give you all a brief overview of exactly what I've done. If you want to know a bit more about the model and how I put it together and what kind of look I was going for, again, it's all in the first video, so I'm not going to go over that all again now. So essentially, I've actually done a fair amount on here. Probably one of the most, one of the first things I did, I was going to say most noticeable, but that might be the console, so I'll start in chronological order, as it were, is this added part with the, I'm trying to think of the best way, but I was going to say wire lattice, or, anyway, the black bits, the big black things, those, anyway. Yes, so I've added those in. The reason I added those in is because I wanted it to have a roof, but I didn't want it to sort of cover the whole thing, so I thought by sort of cutting a sort of half arch, I could then add in bits as if the roof were to extend further outward. And then you've got the sort of basic idea of what it looks like. And I like it because it just sort of, the lattice work adds in a little bit more to the design, but it also means that I haven't got to worry about, you know, trying to struggle to get things in there, and obviously it means I can still take the console out and do things like that. So it was definitely an improvement, I think, and it just adds a little bit more to it. It adds more to the design. It just makes it look more like a console room rather than a big open space. So I definitely am really pleased with how that's come out, and it's really looking now very much like how I envisioned it. The original version of this that I did with just the white and the gold and the console, it just didn't. When I made it originally, this was closer to the design I wanted to go for, but I just sort of, I looked at it and I thought, oh, I don't think grey's really going to work, so I'll go for the gold. So I went for the gold, and the gold just didn't work. So I completely changed it, at which point I then changed it to the grey, and then it was, you will have seen it in the previous video, much closer to how I wanted it, but it still just wasn't quite right. So I decided to update it further, and here is what it is. So it's really starting to look a lot closer to what I wanted it to. Next big change, obviously, is the console. Now, excuse me. Essentially, what I've done from the previous one is I've repainted the. I'm trying to think, the arms. Probably not the right word for them. Anyway, these bits of the console. I've repainted these in overall grey with a black edge lining. Again, just simply doing that just to make it look a little bit different, to be honest, and give it more, as much as I've used this word recently in other videos, depth. I think that was the point. Is I had lots of bright grey colours and silvers and things like that, but there weren't very many dark colours. So by adding in the sort of darker greys and the blacks and things, it does just give it more depth, and it makes it look a lot better, I think. Top of the rotor has obviously very much changed. Now, in the previous video, I said the reason that I went for the shorter rotor and not the tall one is because I liked the look of the short classic rotor. And I still do, that's still a point. But the more I looked at it, and there was something about it that wasn't quite right. And I think the problem is you've got a this style of console, this 10th Doctor, 10th Doctor console, it just looks like it should have a top piece to it, and I think that was the problem. Is I was looking at it, just thinking it just doesn't look right with just a small rotor. So after getting one of them to use parts for an audio series custom, which you will see in future, I had a spare Mox of Balhoun chair, which is actually what this bit is. Now essentially all I've done here is cut off the actual chair bit and trim off around essentially the chair bit and the base, upturned it, fixed it in place, and basically repainted it. And I genuinely looked at it. I was just turning it around in my hands, and had it just literally thought, oh, what can I'm going to keep this, use it for spares, but I don't know what spares I can use it for. You could use that as a bit of a time rotor upside down, and so that's what I decided to do. What I've also decided to do is I've taken off the security camera here and replaced it under this dome. Now, one of the things I would have loved to have done, but unfortunately it just wasn't something that I could really get to work, was if I could have had the lights. I don't know how well this is going to come on in the daylight. Probably not that well, no. But essentially, nothing really changed in the lights anyway. But what I wanted was for the lights to go up into the camera, and then it would sort of, I could have frosted this dome, and then it would have illuminated that as well. But unfortunately, I don't have the technical expertise to do that, so I couldn't. But the thing is, I never really have this displayed with the lights on, so it's not really a massive thing for me. It just would have been a nice extra. But essentially, I sort of looked at the design and I thought, well, if the security camera's up here, it doesn't really give you any kind of sort of look, sort of 360-degree look. So I thought having it on top of the rotor, where it's actually powered by the rotor, the idea is it's powered by the rotor, it works much better in my opinion. And the good thing about this as well is it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the top of the road. It doesn't mean that that it's sat between the roof. For all you could have another bit up the top here with more lattice work, and then it just sort of builds up. I don't know, but just generally, I'm much more pleased with this. And obviously, you have to see it from this angle, because if you turn it round, obviously the design's only on one. The midsection design's only on one part, which is why I've done it from the front again, because you're not really going to see it from the back. But I am really pleased with how this has come out now, and this is probably not something that I'm going to do any more updates to in future, or at least I don't have any plans to. Originally the idea was as well to have a bit down here that had some more computer banks and things like that, but unfortunately just due to display limits I couldn't add that in. But it's not something that I'm really worried about adding in, because I've added lots of things, and obviously I've added in some chairs and things as well, which are just the 10th Doctor console room chairs repainted. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this has come out. It's very much how I first envisioned my TARDIS interior to be, because as I said, it's something that I wanted, a TARDIS interior that had elements of the new series and the classic series, but was my own overall redesign, as it were. So obviously, I was limited by things like the 10th Doctor's console I had to use, and I wanted the roundels in there. So I had to literally lift pieces from existing designs, but by sort of repainting them and doing my own thing with it, I could really sort of come up with something that would be instantly recognisable as a TARDIS console room to those that had seen the television series, but it would look completely different. And I've been really pleased with how this has come together, and it's taken me a lot longer to get it together than I thought it was going to, but the end result is something that I'm very, very proud of, and it's something that I do now have on proud display by my desk. Especially now I've had it rearranged. I've actually got all my audio series figures up here, so I've got them right next to the console. It really does look perfect. And the other great thing as well is, I've always said, I haven't got any plans to do any audio series. Any figure adventures using my audio series as the sound for it. But if I ever do decide to do some scenes and things like that, it's great that I've got this console room as a already pre-built set that I can film some scenes in. But as I said, that's not something that is probably going to happen anytime soon. But going back to it, as I said, there are more audio series figures coming soon. There's going to be some new ones, and there's going to be some revamped old ones. I'm currently working on some new editions, so once they are finished, I will be doing another showcase for them. The audio series itself is still ongoing. I know it's been a while since the last episode came out, but it will be coming within the next couple of months, hopefully. It's just been... the real reason behind it is just simply due to other personal commitments and things like that. You know, I appreciate that people would really want to see the next... really want to hear the next episode and things like that, but as always with these things, you know, it is something that I do on the side of general day-to-day life and things like that. You know, it's as much as I would like it to be, it's not, unfortunately, a job. So I don't. What's the best way of putting it? It's as much as I would like it to be. It's not a full-time job. It's simply due to the fact that there are other things going on. So stay tuned. The audio series hasn't mysteriously disappeared. It is still coming. I'm not sure when it's going to be coming, but it is coming. Same can be said of my next custom figure showcase of my audio series figures. That will be coming soon, but I thought I would give you this video of my updated TARDIS to keep you all intrigued with what's going on. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favourite, subscribe, share. It really helps me out a lot, and I will see you all with another video very soon.